I'll tell you an incredible story that I heard firsthand from the person it happened to. His name was Mr. Taxon. He passed away a few years ago, and he went through the war. And he has incredible stories about how he was one of the people that was involved in the ghetto uprising and other things. But toward the end of his life, he used to spend Shabbos across the street from our shul, and he would daven with us on Shabbos. And one time he told me the following story. When he was a young boy growing up in the Ukraine, so he used to walk to school every day. And one day he sees out of the corner of his eye some kid in an alley looking like he hasn't eaten in a couple days. And he goes over to him and he says, "Are you okay?" And he says, "I haven't eaten in a while. I have no parents." And Mr. Taxon, Mr. Yitzchak Taxon, he said, "Oh, well, I have a sandwich here." And he gave him his sandwich from school that day. And he said that when he came home that night, he told his mother a little lie. And he said that he started getting really hungry and he needs 2 sandwiches every day. And every day on the way to school, he would give one of his sandwiches to this boy in the alley. And I remember Mr. Taxon saying, he goes, "I remember, he called me Itzik." So anyways, this went on for a couple of years. The boy disappeared and Mr. Taxon moved on. And fast forward about 10, 12 years later, and we're in the middle of a war now. And Mr. Taxon found himself in one of the concentration camps as an 18, 19-year-old young man. And word got out in the camp one night that they were going to be killing everyone in the barracks. And it was, you should have heard the cries, and people were saying Ashamnu, and they were davening. And Mr. Taxon was one of these people. And he was davening himself. And all of a sudden, he feels a hand on his shoulder. And he hears a voice say, "Itzik?" Mr. Taxon turns around, and he sees that this boy that he used to give his sandwich to every day was now a soldier in the Ukrainian army who was one of the soldiers at this concentration camp. And Mr. Taxon was amazed to see him, and he said, "Tell me, is it true?" He said, "Yes, it is true, but I'm going to help you escape." And that's exactly what happened. He snuck him to a break in the fence. Mr. Taxon kept running and running and running until he got away. And he was able to survive the war, and he was able to come to America, and he was able to raise an amazing family. And this is the story that he told me. And I'll never forget, he had these steely blue eyes, and he was sitting in his wheelchair in shul, and he looked at me and he started wagging his finger, and you see what one sandwich can do. One sandwich. There's a lot of lessons we can take from here, but is there no more appropriate story to be telling on just one story, which is an offshoot of just one chesed, than the story of just one sandwich? And it's a reminder of the little things that we can do to make a difference, and why this organization and all of its offshoots are so amazing. And may Jerry and all of the people who are putting in so much time to just one chesed continue to have tremendous hatzlacha and impact in Klal Yisrael, one chesed at a time.